Hey guys, I'm back with you guys again with another podcast diaries. Today is podcast diaries number 7, and today is January 13th. This is actually 1 month that I just had my birthday. My birthday was last month on the 13th, December 13th. I'm not going to tell you exactly how old I am, but I've already mentioned I'm in my 30s. But with that being said, today is podcast diaries number 7, and I'm going to talk about a serious topic. Actually, I'm not going to talk too long about it, but I am going to give you some ideas and humble suggestions and resolutions and ideas in response. Today we're actually going to talk about missing people who go missing. For various reasons. We're going to talk about different reasons and just different, helpful possible resolutions I'm just thinking about. I'm pretty sure other people have thought about it before. It's nothing new, but I do want to talk about it. We're going to go into this first. We're going to go into one case. We're going to listen to one case. This is actually an old case that happened years ago. I actually don't know what happened to her at the ending, so this is actually live. While I'm playing this, I'm also responding to you guys too with the live response, because this is my first time. I've never actually seen this before. But this is a missing child. I really don't like talking about missing children because it's a very sensitive topic. Even if a grown person is missing, I feel like it's a sensitive topic. But I was watching a show here on YouTube. I'm sorry about that, guys. I accidentally played. I was actually watching a show here on YouTube, and and it's called 4 Unsolved Disappearances with Horrifying Final Phone Calls. Basically, these calls are, have the missing person has a horrifying phone call, whether it be to a loved one, a family member, a friend, and they go missing and no one ever finds them. And I'm going to actually comment and respond to the last case. And the last case is Joanne Pedersen. So let's get into it.
Popular this case has gotten. But what really happened,
we're going to fast forward a little bit. They cut to commercial, of course. Like I said, this is live, guys. So, it's nothing fake going on.
February 19, 1983, a 10-year-old, Joanne Pedersen, was spending the evening at a local mall with her 12-year-old.
So, on February, we're going to rewind it. It happened in February of, excuse me,
February 19, 1983. A 10-year-old, Joanne Pedersen, was spending the evening at a local mall with her 12-year-old sister and 14-year-old cousin. Her parents were out for the night, meaning the three would be left to walk the short distance home themselves. As they were doing so, Joanne and her...
Now, mind you, these are 3 little kids in 1983. Mind you, 1983, there are a lot of things that were happening at that time. There's a lot of things that happens every single day, all year round, from the beginning of time. But what I'm saying is 3 little kids walking home because the parents weren't available to take them back. I wouldn't have been that liberal. If I'm not there to pick you up and take you to where you need to go as a little kid, you not going nowhere. You gonna sit your little ass in the house. So people could say, oh, that's strict, that's too harsh. No, it's not. To save and preserve the life of that little itty bitty kid, you cannot go anywhere unless I, your mother, or authority is able to pick you up, take you to where you need to go, and then if I take you where you need to go, I'm sitting my ass outside. Ain't no, I'ma go here and then come back. No, I'm not doing that. It's 2025. If I had a child and they needed to be dropped off somewhere, and then to be honest with you, even with it being 2025, it's kind of difficult to have kids around this time period. I really commend people who have kids around this time period because it's getting even worse. But with technology in place, we're going to get into that later on, it helps a little bit easier. I think it helps even more to be able to find some. So, when people create new ideas and create new things, they need to start making, devices that can help track people down, especially if they're missing, but everybody is not the same, everybody that goes missing is not the same age, but let's press play. Basically, no little kid should be walking, especially at nighttime. If they walk, it's because they're walking from the bus stop to their house. And that bus stop to their house, the proximity shouldn't even be that far.
Sister would get into an argument. This led her sister and cousin to run ahead and lock Joanne out of the house as a sort of childish joke. But it was cold and raining that night. Crying, Joanne pounded on the door for some time, but soon just gave up. She decided she'd walk back into town to look for a payphone that she could use to call her parents. She started walking and eventually came across the phone just next to a convenience store.
Okay, we're going to pause it right there. I'm going to rewind it, and then I'm going to rewind it after I make this comment, but I'm going to say this. Okay, so just to backtrack, the little girl had an argument with her sister, and so her and her sister and her cousin ran ahead of this little girl. They ran ahead on some childish shit, because they're kids, I get it. Ran ahead, ran into the house, and locked the door on her and wouldn't let her come in. She was knocking on the door. They didn't let her in. So she decides to go back into town. Her little ass decides to go back into town and use a payphone to call her parents. Why would she do that? This is how I know. I don't want to talk bad about the parents because I don't know the situation. They probably were really good parents. They would have to be. But I feel like they were too liberal. I don't know what exactly happened that day, but they were way too they're way too liberal. Why is that little girl walking back into town by herself? Sit your little ass on that chair or stand outside at that door until your parents get back or until they open the door. Eventually, they would have opened that door up. Had she just sat out there, eventually it would open the door up. Or maybe if she tried to get in through another way through in the house, eventually they would have let her in. If anything, I'm telling mom and dad that you got me locked out. I don't know what she was screaming to them, but the point is her little ass should have never went back into town. Never. Like, what is she going back into town for? What is she leaving her house? Or why would she leave the front door of her house just to go back into town? Okay, they didn't let you in, but going back into town is safer? Where you don't know anybody? Man.
She decided she'd walk back into town to look for a payphone that she could use to call her parents. She started walking and eventually came across the phone just next to a convenience store. Joanne called her stepfather, who answered right away. She would tell him about the altercation with her sister and how she needed to be picked up. Joanne's stepfather assured her they'd come get her as soon as possible. To calm her down, he then handed the phone to her mother. But when Joanne's mother put the phone to her ear, all she could hear was scratching and rustling. Then there was a man's voice. He told her that if they didn't come to pick up their daughter in 30 minutes, he was going to call the police. The two arrived to the payphone around 15 to 20 minutes later, yet Joanne was nowhere to be seen. Her parents contacted the police, and a search was commenced almost immediately. Everyone that entered that convenience...
See? Way too liberal. As soon as she called me, where are you? What happened? I'm on my way. Fuck work. Okay. Fuck work, fuck what. I don't care what nobody says. Nothing is more important than that child at that moment. I've never had no kids, never taken care of any, kids. I don't take care of other people's kids. I've been around, baby cousins and stuff like that, but I have never taken care of nobody's kid before. But I know the importance of a family member, even a family member. Let's say a family member called me and they let me know I'm stranded somewhere. I don't know where I am. I'm stranded. I need you to come get me. And they give me the location. I'm on my way because especially a female, a little girl, a woman, a little girl, a lady, whatever, like, I'm not saying a little boy should be left or a young man should be left, but if somebody is stranded, go get them right away. Because that could be the matter of seconds, moments. You know what I'm saying? I understand maybe they weren't that close, so Maybe they were on their way, and it just took it took 20 minutes to get there. Maybe that's what the case was. But the point is, they're too liberal. I would have been like, first of all, what are you doing walking back in town? But there's no time to be going back and forth with your child, asking them why they going back into town. All of that is too late at this point. The point is, make sure she get there safely. But she heard a man on the phone. Oh, you know what the situation is. I'm gonna call the police if you don't get here. You don't know where the parents are, so you already know this is a scam. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely a scam. Scratching on the phone, he probably snatched that phone from that little girl. Man, ain't no telling, man. That shit crazy.
So that night was interviewed. Some reported to have seen a car with a...
I'm gonna rewind it.
Come to pick up their daughter in 30 minutes. He was going to call the police. The two arrived to the payphone around 15 to 20 minutes later, yet Joanne was nowhere to be seen.
Okay, so he said he was gonna call the police if they didn't come get her in 30 minutes, and they got there within 15, 20 minutes. He's on some bullshit. He was on some creep type weird shit.
Her parents contacted the police, and a search was commenced almost immediately. Everyone that entered that convenience store that night was interviewed. Some reported to have seen a car with a man and child driving off right past the store. Others reported to have actually seen the man talking on the payphone with Joanne, even giving a description of what he looked like. Though he was never identified. Who this man actually was remains a mystery. But it's not even clear if he had any part in Joanne's disappearance. None of the witnesses interviewed actively saw Joanne being taken. Joanne has since never been seen. The call she placed that night would be the last time her parents or anyone ever heard from her.
You see how creepy that is? Do you understand or hear how creepy that is? Like, creepy. Chilling is not even the word. It's an understatement. Like, it's just completely baffling. Like, it makes you not even want to have any kids in the world. And even as a young woman, when I'm by myself in places, I'm very vigilant. I'm very aware of my surroundings. Even when I'm in a public setting with a lot of people. When I'm by myself, when I'm in the public with a bunch of people, I'm very aware of my surroundings. You have to be aware of who's coming in and out. You have to be aware of the cars driving in the parking lot. You have to be aware of what's happening. Just for example, just the other day, I seen somebody running out the store, and come to find out they stole from the store. I don't know if they found the girl or not, but it was some little skinny girl running out the store with some stuff. It's crazy. A lot of things are going on. Like, that's why I'm like, I don't got time for drama. I don't got time for people talking about stupid shit. It's a lot more serious things going on around here. And going back to what I said about missing people. Okay, in today's age, we have technology. Some people don't have iPhones. Some people have Androids. I get it. If you got an iPhone, use the Find Your iPhone. If somebody got an Android, I'm not sure what kind of, detective advice or what kind of devices on Androids to help find the location. But a lot of times people don't have their location on. But I would strongly advise people, when they start going out in public, start putting on your location. Sometimes it's okay for people to know where you are. Now, when you sneaking around doing other shit, okay, whatever, you're a grown-ass person. But with little kids, do I think little kids should have phones now? Maybe some cheap little phone, but I think it's okay for a child to have a phone. If they're going to public school, first of all, if I have a child, they're not going to public school. I'm either going to home school them or they're going to go to private school somewhere, where it's not, a bunch of liberal shit going on. But if they go into public schools, yeah, it's okay to have a phone. But make sure that they don't have access to, things that they're not old enough to have access to on their phone. Like, a lot of times parents buy their kids smartphones now, iPads and stuff like that. Okay, cool. But if they got that, make sure you got some type of, where you can locate your child. If that's why I honestly believe in having kids when you get married, because then you and your husband can have a conversation like, okay, well, if I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm going to make sure my child gets to where they need to get to, wherever they need to get to. If you're dropping your child off somewhere, they're not going to be there that long. Sit outside. Watch them. It's okay. It's not weird or creepy or obsessive to watch your child sometimes. Like, and if you can avoid it, maybe avoid having other people watch your kids. Maybe avoid having other people responsible watching your kids. I get it. Some people don't have that luxury. Some people don't have that luxury where they can pay for a babysitter. I mean, some people don't have that luxury. What I mean is, some people don't have that luxury where they can be with their child all the time until they're grown. Some people have to work and they have to pay for a babysitter, or they have to have other family members watch them. But if you don't have a trusted family member to watch your child, watch your child. Fuck all that babysitter shit, man. Fuck all that shit. Fuck all that. And I hate to cuss, but this is a serious topic. But forget about, having a third party watch your child. No, you watch your child. And if you married and you got a spouse, maybe you're a man and you got a wife, check in on her all the time. Answer phone calls. If your wife is calling you, answer her phone calls. If your husband is calling you, answer his phone calls. You never know. Sometimes I don't understand why people don't answer phone calls from loved ones or significant others. If your significant other is calling you, stop ignoring their calls. They might really be calling you for some serious shit. I've had associates where I'll call them and they won't answer my phone call. I'm like, you never know what's going on with me. Like, like, stuff like that is very serious. Like, I feel like a phone call, answer the phone call. If you're not busy, if your hands are not tied, and wherever you are, you can talk on the phone, answer that phone call. If you got a child, answer that phone call or be with that child. Ain't no, if I'm not there, you can walk to where you need to go to. Nah. Pick that child up. Watch them. Make sure they good. They might feel stifled sometimes. It's okay. Have their friends come over so they don't feel stifled. If they the type that like that, chill with their friends, okay, have their friends come over your house. Or if you letting them spend, because I get it. Sometimes they might want to spend time with their friend at their friend house. Okay, well, why don't you guys come over here? Or if you're that other type of parent, why don't you guys come over here? Playground. Watch them at all times. Kids go missing on playgrounds. I don't understand how a child can go missing on a playground. You're not watching your child. Like, if you watching your child, you should be aware of everything, your surroundings, all the adults, anything that's in close proximity to you and your family member. Make sure you are aware of your surroundings. Like, that's serious. I did a podcast about that girl that went missing in Kalamazoo back in 2013. What was her name? I'm gonna pull her name up so that way I'm not just saying shit. But the girl, her name was Talika Patrick. That's one example. When she went missing, I understand she's a grown woman, but did she have people? It seemed like she was by herself. It seemed like she was by herself a lot. When people are by themselves a lot, they choose to be. A lot of times. Sometimes they don't choose to be. But regardless if they choose to be or not, if you're a family member, if you have a family member that is always by themselves, or if you have a significant other that's always by themselves, or a friend that's always by themselves, check in on them from time to time. Make sure that they're good. Make sure they're straight. Answer their phone calls. You ain't got to be no stalker and, try to figure out where they are at all times. But, it's a lot of things going on. Like, and that's a young woman. Like, somebody had to have cared about her. But that's enough about that. I just wanted to talk about the missing. I'm not a detective. I'm not a police officer, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But my humble suggestion is this. Location, turn your location on. Find your iPhone. Find your iPhone. With these people, Android, whatever. I don't know what Android has. I don't know if they have Find Your Android. I don't know what they got on Android phones on locations and stuff like that. But it's not stalking if you're trying to make sure your family member is okay and safe. Stalking is when someone has a delusional thought in their mind about someone else, or when they have a crazy, narrative about someone, or they are, in close proximity with someone they're not supposed to be in close proximity to. That's stalking. When you are close proximity to someone you're not supposed to be in close proximity to, and you're constantly surveillancing them, watching them, harassing them, that's different. But when you are naturally caring and you really want to make sure your family member is good, or a significant other is good, or associate is good, that's different. But that's enough about that. I pray for all the missing, and I pray for the families, and I just hope that, justice is done. I hope that justice happens, and these missing people are found, eventually. There's nothing that God can't do. God can always reveal anything. And He always does, and He always will. Have a good night. Stay blessed and stay safe.